Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Ghana has become the first country to receive coronavirus vaccines through the COVAX Vaccine Sharing Initiative. A delivery of 600,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine arrived in Accra on Wednesday. The first recipients are due to be healthcare workers. The COVAX scheme aims to reduce the divide between rich countries and poorer nations unable to buy doses. The program is planning to deliver about 2 billion vaccine doses globally by the end of the year. Ghana, which has a population of over 13 million, was chosen as the first recipient of the free vaccines after promising quick distribution and meeting the criteria set by COVAX. Further deliveries are expected to neighboring Ivory Coast later this week. In other news, Tourism Minister Dominic Fedee is expressing excitement over the statistics coming from the UK and the US, which indicate that the numbers of positive COVID-19 cases are decreasing. Minister Fedee says the government is now preparing the nation to be ready for the tourism sector to have life breathed back into it.
The island's tourism minister has indicated that there is a possible light at the end of the tunnel for workers in the tourism sector as the latest wave of COVID-19 that has affected the world's biggest economies is showing signs of subsiding. Dominic Fedee said the decrease in the number of positive cases of the deadly virus coming out of countries, namely the United States and the United Kingdom, is welcoming news to the St. Lucia government, as it means that the sector, which is the island's biggest contributor to the economy, could reopen and begin to recover. The two nations make up St. Lucia's largest tourism market. However, they are also two of the worst COVID-19 hit nations, with the U.S. currently recorded as the epicenter of the virus.
Vaccination has to be one of those areas, we see very good headway being made in both of our source markets. As they are recovering, we're seeing the rate of hospitalization is coming down in the U.S., so that is good news for the future. That will certainly, no doubt, yield significant dividends at some point. And I think what we're doing is more or less preparing ourselves, making sure that the destination gets ready, putting in the airlift capacity so that whenever the world comes back, which is very soon, we will begin to see that there is some benefit.
The UK government has announced that they are eyeing the month of June to end their lockdown. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
The St. Lucia Tourism Authority says the destination is gearing up for a very exciting summer by extending its reach into the U.S. market through the introduction of non-stop flights from Dallas, New York City, and New Jersey. The SLTA's public relations manager says this is all part of the SLTA's ongoing efforts to increase airlift into St. Lucia.
American Airlines and JetBlue continue to work with St. Lucia in recognizing the growing demand for airlift into the destination from key regions within the U.S. market. In supporting the effort, the St. Lucia Tourism Authority continues to focus on strategic sales missions and activities in those targeted alcoves to ensure the success of the flights beyond the peak winter tourism season. The SLTA's public relations manager, Durin Georges, says as such, non-stop flights have been added to the island's itinerary.
So commencing July 1, JetBlue will introduce an inaugural service from New Jersey, and that flight will operate 3 times per week and offer mint service on Saturdays. American Airlines will offer an inaugural service out of Dallas, which was a highly anticipated flight, and that service will commence on July 5th, 2021 and continue through August 14th with a return in the winter period. We still have more good news in that on July 5th, St. Lucia will also welcome the return of American Airlines from New York's John F. Kennedy International Airport, and that is after more than a decade.
Georges says that the commitment of the Tourism Authority to actively monitor trends and patterns in its source markets has led to the accumulation of data that prompted strategic dialogue with the airlines. The data shows great demand potential across the tri-state area and for Dallas as a hub for visitors from the Midwest, West Coast region, and a significant St. Lucian diaspora.
So we really want to thank American Airlines and JetBlue for the continued partnership and for working with St. Lucia in recognizing our product, and the demand for airlifting to the destination. We must note that this flight is without minimum revenue guarantee and that the flight is not subsidized in any way. And so we will continue to work with all of our airline partners in ensuring that there is demand for St. Lucia and that we can continue to feed them with all the necessary data so that decisions can be made as it relates to airlift and growing our tourism product.
Officials of the St. Lucia Tourism Authority will welcome the arrival of the new services at UVF with a full complement of protocols in place. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reported.
Thank you, Nisha. Prime Minister Alan Chastanet is defending the latest reshuffle of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force hierarchy, denying that the decision was a result of political influence. The Prime Minister says the new setting will be integral for the upcoming Border Control Unit.
On Wednesday, February 17th, former Commissioner of Police Severin Mosheri announced that as of the 15th of February 2021, he was no longer the head of the RSLPF, as he had accepted a promotion to serve as the special advisor to the Prime Minister on security matters. This raised years of speculation that the former top cop was a target and was ultimately removed from his position as a result of political interference. Although this, along with other rumors, were addressed by both Mosheri and his successor Milton Daisy, Prime Minister Alan Chastanet has chimed in to quell further speculation. On Tuesday morning, the PM explained that the notion is mind-boggling.
How do you respond to the criticism that Mr. Daisy's promotion and Mr. Mosheri's transfer is simply an act of political interference?
Then why didn't I do it earlier?
As the extent of your response?
Yeah, because I mean, the end of the day, Mr. Mosheri retires in April. So I mean, if that's really what the allegation is, I get on very well with Mr. Mosheri. I get on very well with Mr. Daisy. At the end of the day, I've made a commitment to the people of St. Lucia in terms of strengthening security. We've come a long ways. We still have a ways to go. The police headquarters is about to break ground. The NIPRO has agreed to the terms of that facility. The new cameras are in place. The strengthening of the forensic lab, the DNA facility is now up and operating. The border control system, the new promotions that have taken place. So there's a holistic change taking place in police. This is not to say I've just isolated one situation in the police force. I don't know where these allegations are political interference. I get on very well with Mr. Mosheri. I get on very well with Mr. Daisy.
The PM said Mosheri's appointment coincides perfectly with the government's plans for the new Border Control Unit.
As you know, Border Control is coming in. We've been working very hard on the restructuring of the police force and the strengthening of the police force. So this is something that had been in plans for a while, and I had worked with Mr. Mosheri. So this is all being done very peacefully and all part of the plan. So the goal is to have Mr. Milton Daisy as the new Commissioner of Police for 2 years. And in that interim period that Mr. Mosheri himself is helping us draw out a new structure for the police force. The police have not been restructured and relooked at. So now that we're going to border control, and so the Marine Police will be coming out of the police force. We feel the timing is appropriate, and given Mr. Mosheri's own experience, and certainly Mr. Daisy's own experience, we feel that this is a good interim solution while we work on strengthening the police force.
The PM said Mosheri is being appointed specifically to help formulate a better structure for the RSLPF. He said the former COP's experience speaks for itself. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
Commerce Minister Bradley Felix has revealed that the road to decriminalizing and then ultimately legalizing marijuana is too long and winding. Minister Felix says the process is one that he cannot control and that on his end he is doing his part to keep the matter a relevant topic to be addressed.
Commerce Minister Bradley Felix was faced with a question that has been on the minds of marijuana advocates for years. When will the plant be decriminalized and ultimately legalized? Felix said he agrees that the process is taking a frustratingly long time to reach a solution. However, there are aspects of the process over which he has no control. The minister addressed the matter moments before a sitting at the House of Assembly on Tuesday morning.
So where are we on the marijuana issue? Many people think that it's been lingering too long.
I agree. I agree, but I cannot control the legal interpretations and how these things are done by the people who have the expertise. I can push it forward as the minister who has been given the charge for it, but it has to take its course according to the people who are doing the drafting. But I think the budget is coming up very soon, and we'll be making a statement about it.
Felix reiterated the fact that whilst the movement is very much on the table and new legislation is being drafted, the use, sale and cultivation of the plant is against the law.
The point is the cannabis and the use of cannabis, the growing of marijuana is still illegal. That's a fact. So the police cannot be blamed for doing, as far as the police are concerned, they're supposed to uphold the law. So anything that's illegal, the police have to intervene, and I think that's what they're doing. The police can be held to account for that. What I think is we, as you all have been doing, is continuously asking us to what progress has been done with addressing, the whole decriminalization, legalization. I think that is what needs to continue.
Advocates for the legalization of marijuana continue to agitate for the release of individuals incarcerated for using and or selling small quantities of the plant. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come, the Education Minister seeks to reassure parents of grade 6 students about the Common Entrance exam. And what will the Broadcast Minister do about the Radio St. Lucia archival material that seems to be going to waste?